Hello, everyone, and welcome to this virtual video orientation for 8th grade and new students 9 through 12. We are very excited to be seeing you virtually on Wednesday and in person on Thursday, or potentially Monday, depending on what cohort you're in. This is certainly not the way that ideally we would have welcomed you. Ideally, this would have been in person in our auditorium. We would have had upperclassmen giving guided tours and showing students how to navigate their schedules. But given the constraints that we're under now and all of our work to preparation, this is, our way of providing you some information about Hudson High and what to expect throughout your journey here. So there are going to be a variety of videos that are going to be available to you. Some of these are going to be linked together. Others are going to be provided separately. But this video just is an introduction to Hudson High School that I, Jason Medeiros, the principal, am honored to be able to give to you. There'll be a video about how to engage in the Hudson High School community, and that's going to be jointly presented by Dan McInespy, the assistant principal for grades 8 and 9, and Jessica Winders, our athletic director. They'll talk to you about clubs, activities, sports. Now, granted, many of these are either going to be launched on a delayed or a different fashion, but one of the vital things about the lifeblood of Hudson High School are the opportunities that you have outside of the day curriculum to get plugged in, to get engaged, to meet new people, and to pursue interests and passions. There'll be a virtual tour as well, kind of a video guiding you through how to navigate the hallways. And separate, I'm also going to provide for the whole school community, not just to new folks, an introduction to our COVID-related protocols and procedures. And all of these will be accessible to you on the high school website. So for our 8th grade families, what is the model like here for 8th grade? Well, in a traditional middle school model, students are divided up into teams. If you're coming from Quinn Middle School, that is the model for 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, where a subset of students are traveling together and working with the same set of teachers. The 8th grade here is not built like that in the same way. Although the core academic teachers who do work with our 8th grade students, a majority of their teaching assignment is embedded within the 8th grade. Some of them may teach 1 or 2 classes to 9th grade and higher, but we effectively have a teaching team who collaborates and communicates to work with the entire 8th grade, even if they're not sharing the same student caseload. Within our elective program, 8th graders are integrated with 9th and 10th graders, and in this case, under the pandemic circumstances, they may be have access to courses where they may not have otherwise had access to, given the needs to accommodate our different schedule this year. But by and large, 8th graders in their electives will have an opportunity to learn with peers outside of their grade. Teachers are part of their departmental team, so even though they're not team teaching as they would in a traditional middle school model, the math teachers are part of the larger math team. The social studies teacher are part of the larger social studies team. What that helps them do is understand the whole entire scope and sequence of the high school curriculum within their teams. That allows them to build the skills and habits of mind that are required for students when they get into 9th grade and they start building their high school transcript. And even though they're part of the high school here, they have this first year to really take risks and learn some of those foundational skills that are important for high school success. And even though there's not that formal team that is meeting collectively of teachers, we do have an instructional support team here at the high school. It is a regular meeting between counseling and administration to review performance of students at all grade levels and potentially strategize next steps. Students may come on our radar as a result of teacher concerns, parent concerns, student concerns, our own observations, but there is a set of adults meeting routinely, going through caseloads to make sure all the students are getting what they need. So that looks different from what a team meeting might look like in a traditional middle school model, but there are eyes and ears out there looking after the success of your student. After you finish 8th grade, or for those of you who are transferring in as 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th graders, what is different about our curriculum once you get into the high school grades? Well, we're going to have access to a variety of classes that is going to enable you to build a comprehensive academic plan to meet whatever your post-secondary goals are. So there is a variety of classes at levels meeting everybody's needs, from smaller supportive classes to advanced placement to honors and everywhere in between. So you have the opportunity to, with the support and advice of your family and your counselors, to maybe find an area of particular interest where maybe you want to push yourself and take a risk and engage in higher level coursework in one area, where you may be also able to select courses in areas that are maybe more challenging for you at this time and find the right balance of that. So the idea is to, once you get into grades 9 through 12, like I say, see there in the top bullet of that slide, it's really about what is your academic plan? What are your current strengths? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? And how do we craft a set of courses that allows you to have an appropriate level of challenge while also trying to meet your goals? You'll have increased choice within our elective program. That's one of the cornerstones of our program of study here at Hudson High. So whether those are within the area of performing art, visual art, technology, even areas within science and the humanities, we have a robust set of elective courses that allow you to, again, take risks, go deep and pursue areas of curiosity or interest, and expose yourself to courses that may not necessarily be offered in a traditional high school program. As part of that elective program, we have 4 specific post-secondary pathway programs. And what a post-secondary pathway is, it's a cluster of courses that are sequentially designed that by the time you complete them, offer you some sort of certificate or credential at the end. So the top 2 there are biomedical pathway and engineering pathway. Those are sets of 3 courses, biomedical in the science department, engineering within our engineering and technology team, aligned to a set of courses developed by a group called Project Lead the Way. And these courses that each of these courses has an end of course assessment. And if students get a certain score on these end of course assessments that are developed by PLTW and get a particular grade within these courses, if you complete the pathway, you may be able to earn college credit through partnering universities that you can take with you to whatever post-secondary institution that you are engaging with. Our education and care pathway for students who complete that pathway, which involves some internship experience, either at the preschool, pre-K, or kindergarten level. Those students finish Hudson High School with their Massachusetts certification in early education and care. So that is an employable certificate that a student could use right out of high school if they so choose. Similarly, our Portuguese medical interpretation program is a sequence of courses that, when completed, if you're able to pass a series of assessments at the end, you would also leave high school certified as a certified medical interpreter, a credential that you could use in a hospital or other healthcare setting for employment straight out of high school. The notion of these pathways is something that is new, although some of these courses that have existed, the education and care has been something that has existed at Hudson High School for quite some time. We are constantly looking at ways to find partners within our community, either in Hudson or in the broader Metro West around these disciplines, and thinking about other ways that we can package our electives so that students could have a robust and coherent set of courses that they can kind of really go deep in if they wanted to. So this is kind of the direction of our elective program. Not all of them may end up with a credential or a college credit or a certificate, but even within the broader elective program, Hudson High School, we're trying to be thoughtful about how we help students select from these offerings and bundle them in a way where they can really have a robust and deep experience with all their elective choices. Stepping back from the particulars of academics, like philosophically and on day-to-day, what can you expect from Hudson High School? Well, we value a learning environment that offers high expectations with high support. And that means that not only extends within the classroom, but outside. We have, in addition to all the academic offerings and the video you'll hear about from Ms. Winters and Mr. McInespy, we want to see students engage inside and outside of the classroom. This is my second year here at Hudson High School, and one of the things that I was struck by in the fall when I came in is that this building really has a life after school, and that could be students meeting with teachers for extra help, students just studying and completing homework in the cafeteria, or students staying either for drama, music, or athletics after school. So within all of these realms, whether it's our coaches, our theater directors, or whoever it may be, students and staff take a lot of pride in the work that they produce, and there's a lot of high level of care, support, and guidance to make sure that we're getting the best out of our students and helping them grow and achieve in the ways they want, whether that's in the classroom or on the fields or on stage. You can also expect a community, a community that is both welcoming to all students and families, but is also reflective. I think, like many communities, this spring we took a step back after the deaths in the nation of individuals like Breonna Taylor and George Floyd to think about, are we doing the best we can to support our students of color, to support of our students who are linguistically diverse, and what is it that we have to do to reflect and improve our ability to really be the community that we come out and say we are. Along those lines, even though we were in the midst of the pandemic when much of this occurred and all of us were learning and working from home, we were still able to have a faculty forum where we talked about how inclusive our community is as a faculty and staff. We engaged, created the opportunity for students to engage in that conversation as well. And over the summer, we've actually had the opportunity to have 2 forums for alumni to come in and share their perspective of our community as they experienced it when they were here at Hudson. So again, we're not afraid to be reflective and learn about and grow in the things that that we could be doing better, while also providing the welcoming and caring environment that we hope all students can feel cared for and loved so that they can learn to the best of their ability. Along those lines, at Hudson High School, you're going to be in an environment that's safe. With that is the importance of learning along with a sense of accountability. So in terms of school safety, we have a supportive staff that is solution-oriented. So accountability doesn't have to mean that there needs to be consequence or problem. We are always striving to be solution-oriented. One of the lines I've been using since I became an assistant principal in another district is that high schools are a mistake-making factory. Here at Hudson High, we have a little under 900 students, ages 13 and 8th grade up to 18 as high schoolers. Adolescents are going to make mistakes, so we try to have practices that create the space for students to problem solve, to seek alternative solutions to their problems. And are there consequences? Sometimes, yes, but with this many adolescents in one space, mistakes are going to happen. Yes, those mistakes may come with consequences, but we're always trying to learn from them. Other elements of school safety, we have staff and our students trained in the various protocols that we need to be able to respond into certain situations. Some of those may be as routine as fire drills, but also we train our staff and students how to respond to more dynamic situations where we might have to think of our feet and act accordingly to keep one another safe. We do have a full-time school resource officer on campus. Officer Vio from the Hudson Public Schools is a great asset to this community. Works hard to build relationships with kids, not only when he's in the building during the school day, but also out in the Hudson community when school is not in session. Underlining all of this is our student handbook. Our student handbook is a digital text. Print copies, though, are available for you upon request. And in that student handbook, you'll see our code of conduct, you'll see our attendance procedures. We'll be providing shortly in the coming weeks an electronic sign-off sheet to acknowledge that you have access to it and have been given the opportunity to read and understand what the handbook is. You'll find district and school policies there, as well as contact information for people. So once we publish the 2020-2021 student handbook, I encourage you to take a look at that. We'll be having class meetings with our students, likely in a virtual platform in the coming weeks, where we too will methodically go through the handbook with them, in particular the code of conduct, so that they understand the expectations that are of them when they're here. Hudson High School is as well as other schools within the district, are one-to-one in terms of every student gets a district-issued Chromebook. Now, if you are from Quinn Middle School, you will be using that same Chromebook that you had in 7th grade. For those of you 9 through 12, the district is working on getting your device ready, and I'll be reaching out to all of you when you may be able to pick it up in the next 48 hours or so. We don't give these Chromebooks without offering through our library media services or through our various classes instruction on digital citizenship. Now, that's going to be particularly important in this year, given the amount of online learning that's going to be happening. How do you behave appropriately on social media? How do you behave appropriately in the various Google Meets that you'll be intending to engage with your classes when you're learning from home? So this is certainly an area of our curriculum that's going to be ramped up, and we'll have an added emphasis on how to behave when you're learning online. For the days where you are coming in to learn in person, it's really important that your devices are charged and ready to go. Every classroom doesn't have an individual outlet where if half the class needs to be plugged in to charge their device, it's not going to work. So we encourage you to have a routine at home where your device is charging overnight, fully charged in the morning, and ready to go into your backpack for school use the next day. We also encourage you to care for your device. Families will incur the cost of some certain types of damage, as well as replacement if you lose a charger or the device itself. So whether it is buying a special case to help your device stay safe, or having specific places in your home where the Chromebook is going to live, as well as the charger, those are some very important routines that you can establish at home to support the care for your Chromebook. School home communication is the next topic I'd like to cover. So regular two-way communication is always possible, either by phone or email. Our school website has our directory there, where the important phone numbers for the administration and counseling teams are available, as well as email addresses for our staff. If you're interested in getting daily updates, we do have a listserv email that goes out every afternoon that we call the Daily Round Robin. If you'd like to receive these daily emails, you can sign up through our school website. If you go to the Parents tab and then the Digital Resources tab within there, you'll be able to find the link for the registration of the Round Robin, provide your email address, and then you will be given essentially a copy of our daily announcements to know about things that are going on in the Hudson High community. School Messenger is a software platform that we use to send mass emails, or as well as to administer any robocalls that we may need to share either routine updates or urgent matters. So that is kind of one of our systems that we rely on. And then there's Aspen. Aspen is a system of communication that students and families will both have access to. I encourage families to pursue in learning how to kind of use the parent portal through that. This is a platform where students can see updates to their grades, they can see their attendance, It's kind of the wearied house for kind of the digital student record. We expect that teachers post updates to their students' grades in Aspen every 2 weeks. So whether it's partnering with your student to look at this together, or finding a mechanism by which you can engage the parent portal, would be an important way to stay up to date on student progress. Speaking of communication, this is the Hudson High School administrative team. There's myself, Dan McInespy, who I've mentioned. We're currently in the process of hiring an interim assistant principal for grades 10 through 12, as our assistant principal, Danica Johnson, recently resigned to pursue an opportunity in another district. Angie Flynn is our director of school counseling, and Jessica Winters, who you also see in a subsequent video, is our athletic director. Working side by side with us and alongside you as families are our talented school counseling team, and these are our 5 illustrious school counselors who will support your students throughout their time here at Hudson High, and their roles. They're there as one of the frontline people for your support. So if you don't know where to go for help, contacting your student's counselor or contacting an administrator is a great way for us to point you in the right direction. Counselors are there to support academic planning when it comes to, selecting courses and figuring out how to navigate the opportunities that we have here. They're here to provide social emotional support, along with our adjustment counselors and school psychologists. They're part of your team, and we encourage you to reach out to them if you feel, as a student or a parent, that you're maybe in need of something to be your best self while at Hudson High. If you want to track us on social media, here are 3 of probably the more active school-wide social media accounts. You can see there the Twitter handles for both my office as well as the athletic director, although I will 100% acknowledge that Jess Winters is a far better Twitter user than I am. And if you're interested in following the school counseling department, they have a fairly active Instagram page that you could also follow there. So finally, in closing, one of the things in Hudson High that we talk about is what does it mean to demonstrate H.U.D-Pride? So last year we coined this acronym. What does it mean to persevere relentlessly in diverse environments? So this was a theme for last year that we really focused on, and I chose to bring it back, at least for the purposes of this slideshow, because we're going to, now more than ever, we're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to persevere with one another. Students and families and faculty alike, we're all learning how to do school in a new and different way. So if there are moments of frustration, if there are moments of disappointment, we really want to preach that students should be taking pride in their work, pride in what they do, and persevering when they have moments of challenge or disappointment. How can you as families partner with us in supporting perseverance at home? I like to look at that in terms of these 5 different areas. 1, establishing routines for homework and studying. Again, in normal times are also very important, but now when students will be learning at least 1 day a week, and then upwards to 3 to 5, having specific routines about where and how students are going to work at home is going to be important to do, and that helps support perseverance, because that sense of practice, that routine, that habit is something that can be cultivated, and having that routine is important when things are hard, because you have a pattern of practices that you can rely on to work through difficulty and challenge. Having conversations around social media behavior. Students certainly will be on a screen for their learning more than they normally are. So understanding the boundaries of what you're using your device, what you're using it for, whether it's your school issued Chromebook, a personal laptop, a smartphone, or whatever device you may have, having conversations about what are those devices for, and what could be the consequences if you're posting or saying or doing videos of things that you otherwise shouldn't be doing. We understand that social media behavior and online viewing of things can have a huge influence on adolescents and can have a huge impact on their mental health. It can be, in some ways, sometimes a very fulfilling and positive way to connect with people, but it also can lead to moments of struggle and challenge too. So we encourage families to at least have honest and open conversations with their students about how they're using their devices. Another way to support perseverance at home is acknowledge that, school can be hard and that stress can be good. I mean, some element of, physiologically, our minds and our bodies do perform well when they're under a certain amount of stress. So not all stress is bad, and acknowledge that, yeah, sometimes school can be hard. Sometimes your grade may not be reflective of the one you want, but what are the strategies? What are the things that you can do? What are the conversations you can have either with your teachers or with members of our community that can help you do better the next time? What we don't want is we don't want stress to turn into kind of more extreme forms of anxiety or other social emotional challenges. And that's why your counseling team, your administrators, your teachers, we're all here to support you with that. But at the same time, a little bit of stress and a little bit of challenge, a little bit of rigor, those in and of themselves aren't bad things. We want to be certainly mindful when those things reach to extremes. But we do, part of persevering is understanding how to work through difficulty. Tied to that is understanding how to reframe disappointment or discipline as an opportunity to learn, right? As I said before, in terms of discipline, high schools are a mistake-making factory. One mistake, one conversation with Mr. McInespie that may lead to consequences, isn't going to dictate the full extent of your future. Just like one poor grade, one poor performance, or even a few, grades that maybe don't match what you're hoping for. Those aren't determining who you are right now as a person or who you might become as you grow and learn and mature. So it's really important that we reframe disappointment, that we reframe our mistakes as opportunities to learn. Certainly, there are going to be moments where we're disappointed. There are going to be moments where we make mistakes, and sometimes there are consequences to those. But the most important part of it is, what have we learned from these experiences? How can we persevere through them so we can be better and do better the next time? Along those lines, it's the idea of to have conversations about possible selves, right? It's really easy to have a singular focus on something, or to look at one bad grade or one thing as reflective of who you are as an individual. So we really encourage you as families to have conversations. Well, there are multiple possibilities that we all have for our futures. We're not kind of tied into one path, one bad grade, one rough stretch academically or behaviorally. That's not going to determine who we are in the future. We have the capacity as individuals to learn, to evolve, to adapt to our environments. And as a result of that, we can control much of who we have the opportunity to be in the future. There's not kind of one perfect job or one perfect college or one experience that is going to dictate who you are and who you get to become. So it's important to keep an open mind, be perseverant, and think about all the different opportunities that you may have for yourself. And we're certainly hopeful that Hudson High School opened those doors for you. So again, thank you for joining us, Hawk family. We look forward to seeing you in person. I'm gonna stop this video now, and we look forward to sharing some more information with you through these other platforms. All right, take care. We'll see you soon.
Hello, class of 2025. My name is Mr. McInespie, and I am going to be your assistant principal here at Hudson High School. I'm here today with Ms. Winters, who is our athletic director at Hudson High School. And the purpose of our presentation during this orientation is to try to give you as much information as possible about clubs, about athletics, about activities here at Hudson High. Now, I know that it's going to be a little bit different, right? It's going to be different because you're coming up to a new high school and I know it's going to be different because not all of our clubs and sports and activities will be offered. So we're going to tell you what you can do to get plugged into Hudson High, what it is that you can do to become a part of the Hawk Nation here at Hudson High. Now, Ms. Winters, our athletic director, is going to speak to you about our sports.
Hi, everyone. It's really good to be here. I'm excited for the start of school. As Mr. McAnespie said, I'm Ms. Winters. I'm the athletic director. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what sports is going to look like this year, the information that we have right now. Traditional fall athletics would start in August, and we would offer the following sports. We would offer cheerleading, cross country, field hockey, football, dance, golf, soccer, and volleyball. But this year, due to the pandemic, we are offering a modified Fall 1 sports season, which is slated to start on September 21st. And those sports are cross country, field hockey, golf, and soccer. So what does the rest of the school year look like? Well, traditionally in winter would start right after the Thanksgiving Day holiday, but it will be pushed a little bit this year because we have an extended Fall 1 season, which will end on November 20th. Winter sports are cheerleading, basketball, gymnastics, ice hockey, indoor track, swimming, and wrestling. The modified schedule for winter sports will start, as I mentioned, on November 30th, and it will go through February 21st. And the sports that we'll offer are the same sports that we would normally offer in a modified capacity. And more information on that will come out as we learn what those modified rules and guidelines are. And that brings us to the Fall 2 season, where we're going to offer the sports that we did not offer in this Fall 1 season. And those sports are football, volleyball, cheerleading, and dance. And then spring. The traditional spring season would offer baseball, lacrosse, softball, tennis, track, and unified track. But now, during the pandemic, we'll offer those same sports, but there will be modifications made, and we don't know those yet. Once we have those, they'll be communicated out in a timely fashion well before the season is offered. And now I'm going to give it back to Mr. McAnespie to talk a little bit about clubs and activities and how we're going to manage making those available to you this semester.
Okay. So now for clubs and activities at Hudson High. Again, one of the most important things to do at Hudson High is to get involved, get plugged in, like be a member of our community, be a member of Hawk Nation. And in doing that, we have a number of clubs that will be offered this year. Now, again, they might be modified, there might be a little bit of change, there might be some virtual clubs, but I just want to give you an example of one. One club that we have is the outdoor club that is run by Mr. Lesage here at Hudson High. They go hiking, they go fishing, they go kayaking, they do a lot of outdoor activities, which is something that we can definitely do here at Hudson High. We have plays, we have community council, we have our junior boosters, we have our drama clubs, we have our math clubs, National Honor Societies, we have Art National Honor Societies, and there's a number of clubs that you can see, I won't read them all off, that you can see in the slide. So again, during this part of your orientation, we just want to make sure that you know that you can get involved still here at Hudson High, right? It might not look the same, might not be exactly the same as the 8th graders have done in the past, but we will have some activities for you to participate in while you're here at school and while you're remote. All cohorts are invited to play athletics. They're invited to get involved in activities. They're invited to participate A, B, C, and D cohorts. And the activity directors or the coaches, they will work out specific times and dates of when they will meet. Again, welcome to Hudson High School, class of 2025. We're looking forward to having you come into our building. We're looking forward to you being part of our community here at Hudson High. Thank you.
Hello again. I just wanted to make sure that you had my contact information and the new athletic website. A lot of information is presented there, posted on the website regarding sport offerings, how to register, and certainly this year, any modifications that might be taking place, and protocols that we're putting in place due to the pandemic. And I think that's important for you and your parents to know prior to signing up and getting involved in sports here at Hudson High. So please email me yourself, have your parents email me. I can't wait to meet all of you guys, and I'm looking forward to having a really great year. As Mr. McAnespie said, it's going to look a little different, but different isn't always bad, and we're going to make it really fun. But we want to help. So reach out, ask questions, stay in touch, and we'll see you soon.